right, guys, let's get this Fight Club kicked off. Here we are on Atlantis Spaceship, and in the blue at the top of the map in the 12 o'clock position from the team Liquid, it is Liquid HerO. And down at the bottom left part of the map in the red from the team NSHS, our current reigning champion in IPL Fight Club, it is none other than GSL champion NSHS.Jjakji.
Okay, so I like that they chose this map to start. This is determined by our StarCraft Ops team, and I think they do a very, very good job with our map pool and making sure that very fun maps are selected first as well.
Do a good job of switching things up a little bit, kind of throwing random things at people.
For sure. And so this is kind of an interesting map to kick things off on. A lot of people have been going for super, super, super fast expands here. We've seen players even like Parting recently. We've seen him do it both on this map and on Daybreak, going for 1 gate expo into another Nexus after that, following it up with an 8 gate, which just seems to hit so strong if you know your opponent is fast expanding. Yeah,
you know, I almost feel like this is sort of the spiritual successor to Scrap Station. It's got a lot of similarities. It's a 2-player map. You have kind of this sort of U-shaped pattern to the map to a certain extent. You've got a base down at the bottom. Oh, you got a proxy barracks going up for Jjakji.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a moment. But it's just got a lot of similarities. I
agree.
It's got a large main. It's got space behind the minerals that you can hide things even. So I miss Scrap Station. It had its flaws, but it was a cool map, and I like to see kind of this spiritual successor, if you will. But yes, a proxy barracks going up and a gas as well for Jjakji.
Yes.
So this isn't going to be any sort of like 2 racks marine bunkering like we've been seeing quite a bit in TVP in Korea. This is probably going to just be straight up Marauders, I would imagine.
And HerO is expanding.
Yeah,
oh boy.
I think HerO's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. If Jjakji does go for the Marauders, get some fast concussive shells, he is going to be able to put on so much pressure. Oh, but did he build that barracks too close?
Oh, he does. He does.
Oh, man.
Gateway number 1 on the way. We'll see if he cancels and just slaps down another gateway, if he is going to be resilient and just continuing with this Nexus. Gas number 1 coming up at the moment.
It's really too late now for HerO to switch things up, man. I mean, the thing is that his gateway is not going to get down any quicker at all.
Right.
He did the right thing, though, in putting down that forge. He can at least try to protect things with cannons. It is going to be a Reaper first, though, from Jjakji. He knows there's not going to be anything that can chase him around, so he'll be able to micro to his heart's content against the probes.
And importantly, HerO does not see anything being constructed out of that tech lab right now.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
He just knows that there's something coming out of the barracks at the moment. We'll see if he was just waiting to begin concussive shell afterwards, as we do see a Marauder following this up.
You know what? This is actually going to be a bunker rush with Reapers, it almost looks like. He might switch over to Marauders, and in fact he is. Okay, it is.
Yeah.
But the idea of putting Reapers in bunkers against Protoss kind of makes me a little bit excited and wonder. But yeah, this is such good protection for those bunkers. I mean, even once a Zealot comes out, it's going to be very, very difficult. Whoa! He one-shot that Nexus. No, not literally, but it is kind of funny. Oh, Reaper taking some damage, but
right at the end. Yeah, Zealot taking some damage as well. The next bunker is canceled. We have a couple of Marauders coming out at the moment, and
well, you can see he's already sending the SCVs home. They've done their job, man. I mean, Nexus taken care of.
Yes, he is. And what is he actually doing with these SCVs? Not quite sure right now. He's going to bring it back, checking for proxies or something.
Out. Yep. Yeah, looking for pylons, I guess. You don't really need 4 SCVs for that, but
he saw the forge. I guess that's true. So he thought maybe he was being counter cannon rushed or something like that.
There is a forward pylon going down for HerO, but this is not something that he's going to be able to use for a while. Command center starting now for Jjakji. Nice little pressure opening here. He's going to be able to keep his opponent on 1 base for quite a while.
Yes. And looks like he's expanding himself now. Of course, no additional unit-producing structures have gone down. Reaper tried to poke up to the front there for a second. Didn't really get a lot done. There is a cannon now to defend behind this as well. And we have a Stargate coming out of HerO. Oh, it's actually being proxied right now down here at the bottom of the map.
I like this. I think this is actually a brilliant move by HerO because he's kind of taken really good stock of the situation. He's like, all right, you know what? You don't have right now, Jjakji, you don't have units that can actually hit air. So if I just make a Void Ray right now, back it up with some gateway units, I think there's actually a pretty good chance that I could just kill you. And at the very least, he's going to be able to defend his base from these Reapers. It's going to have to take a lot of APM for Jjakji to keep that Reaper alive if he decides to harass, and he'll need that APM elsewhere. But yeah, smart move by a HerO going for that proxy Stargate in this case.
And these 2 barracks are still 60 seconds away, and as we can see, the Stargate's finishing up, and that Void Ray is going to be there momentarily. Well, as soon as he gets the resources for it.
And okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, he's going to be Chrono boosting that out. There is a starport on the way, so conceivably he could get a Viking to start to kind of work on the Void Ray, although Void Rays still do pretty well against Vikings.
Right.
With like perfect micro, you can kite against them, but it's pretty tough.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, I think Jjakji's actually in a little bit of trouble here. He has no idea this is coming. I know this is what happens when two really good players have to actually try to outthink each other on the fly in a match. I love games like this. No, prescribed build orders or anything like that. Just two players trying to outsmart each other. It's awesome to see.
Yes, it is.
And yep. There's a Viking right away for Jjakji too. Good choice, playing it very, very safe.
Very much so, and we're going to see if this Void Ray can get in there in time to do some damage. This SEV is going to start checking for proxies. It looks like it might. Yeah! And he sees that Stargate. He sees one Void Ray out. The Void Ray doesn't care that there's an SEV there. It looks like his bunker was broken up at the front. That's what he was concentrating his attention on. So HerO has broken out. He will be able to expand in a bit, but Void Ray number 2 is on the way.
Yeah, so this is basically going to end up being sort of a Void Ray all-in from HerO with that proxy Void Ray. And the question is, can he get there fast enough to do enough damage to win it? Because the thing with Void Ray all-ins is that you have kind of this window where you can win. I mean, obviously killing Marauders and stuff helps, but the big thing is if your opponent has enough to deal with the Void Rays, it becomes relatively easy to stop. So he's got this window. It's a rather large window right now, though, so I think I got to give the edge to HerO right now.
All right. Well, we already have the Viking and a couple of Marines making their way out, but the Marines are going to die very quickly to the Void Rays. However, with that support through the air as well, the Void Rays are starting to get pushed back, but this attack is coming right through the front. It's going to try and just bust down the bunkers, but it doesn't look like HerO has enough. He's got to back up in the moment. He's just lost both his Void Rays as well.
Yeah, great micro by Jjakji there. HerO had to pull those back. He didn't keep the charge up. He wasn't able to handle the Marines and the Vikings. I guess that window was a little bit smaller than I thought, though. Yeah, Jjakji just seeming like he has like the sixth sense, getting those Vikings right away.
Right. And now he has 3 bunkers up with siege tanks there as well. Yeah. It's going to be incredibly difficult for him to try and hold this. And, even dropping down that proxy barracks in position. Here comes the attack again through the front.
Not going to work.
No, one bunker is going to fall, but no units have quite yet, and HerO's getting torn apart right now.
Yep. Yeah, only sentries with a couple of zealots here. It's just not going to quite be enough. HerO's going to try to back up a little bit, but Jjakji definitely with a huge lead right now, being that he does have 2 bases up and running.
Yeah.
And, yeah, HerO, I mean, he went for something smart, but just didn't quite get there in time. It's amazing just how much you get slowed down by those early pressure things like we saw Jjakji do. And I got to say, it's a little bit surprising, too, that he went for those Vikings. He just kind of – I don't know if he really saw – evidence that there would be Void Rays. I mean, he didn't scout the Stargate.
Sure.
I suppose he did. I think he did see that there were 2 gas, and he did also see that there weren't a lot of gateway units being made.
Very true. Yeah.
But conceivably, it could be a robo just as easily in that case, too. So I think a little bit of an educated guess being taken by Jjakji, and it was certainly a good one, too.
Yeah, and he's trying to expand out of this. HerO's trying to expand out of this now, but situation looking pretty bleak for him as he's going to lose his Stargate up at the front. His opponent has been on 2-base economy for a very long time and establishing his 3rd at basically the same time. HerO's just trying to take his natural.
Yeah,
so things are heavily in favor of HerO at the moment. Jjakji ahead by 22 workers and multiple mules as well.
Yep, we're going to see Jjakji go into that Marine tank. Banshee plays, getting that combat shields first. Usually when you do this, you don't really bother with medevacs because you're not going to be getting stim. And I actually like that. We've seen Nada do plays like this before, this sort of composition. All right, he is getting a few medevacs here, but we see players like Nada actually skip them for a long time.
Sure.
Just because if there's no stim, you don't really have to heal the Marines up with the medevacs, so you can use that sort of air spot to get Banshees to do more damage with your army. But I would imagine that Jjakji might want to do a little bit of dropping while he pushes as well, and that's why he's adding on a medevac.
All right, well, he is going to make his way in. We'll see if he just goes after the pylon, because there is pretty good positioning off that photon cannon, so has a little bit of a sweet spot where he can sit here and it's going to force units out. We know, of course, that there's no cloak out there as well, so it's going to be a little bit harder.
Oh, wow. Gotta be careful, Jjakji.
Okay, well, he does manage to pick off how many? Okay, 2 workers and, well,
some
marginally
shields.
Damaged the pylon.
Right. Scratch the paint on it anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. 62 supply to 130 at the moment. There, Jjakji that is just a scary push coming out of him right now.
Yeah, supply is much higher, obviously, for Jjakji. I mean, he's been on 2 bases for pretty much the entire game, and HerO's only been on 1 for most of it. HerO going for Twilight Tech right now, going into that high Templar building, but not going to have Templars out in time to handle something like this. Certainly not going to have something like Storm, you know, which is what you would want to have in this situation.
Right.
So it's going to be nearly impossible here for HerO to hold this off.
All right, well, here's the siege up. Guardian Shield gets thrown down as the gateway units make their way to the front, not really trapping many units there. In fact, Jjakji just losing one, but his siege tank hits are starting to splash pretty hard right now. And that pylon did end up going down to the Banshee, which means that HerO is actually supply blocked at essentially the worst possible time.
Yep, that's right. Doesn't really hurt, or doesn't really help too much rather here. Yeah, and the bunkers are going to be tough to deal with as well. There's the drop with that one medevac. Just wanted to use that to ferry some units up onto the high ground.
Right.
HerO would need to pull off a miracle to win this game here. I mean, he's a hero, but sometimes heroes fall. That's pajamas. It looks like he's going to fall.
Yes.
Game one. Nice force fields there.
Yeah,
actually.
So traps quite a few units, of course, but the siege tanks at the back are just so powerful, and there's Marines on the high ground now just powering their way through a cannon. They don't even care. And the rest of these Stalkers are going to fall momentarily. Now almost 100 supply deficit, and it looks like Jjakji is going to take that quick Game 1 win here. He has bunkers at the back as well as he has expanded to his third, and Jjakji just punishing his opponent in game number 1.
Yep, he can move out and start hitting that Nexus with the siege tanks pretty soon here. That's exactly what he's going to do. And Jjakji can just kind of continue to push. HerO, you know, if he had any forward pylons out, he could do some sort of warp in harassment, but he doesn't. Jjakji was able to find all of those. Yeah, probes coming off the line. That is going to be it, guys.
Yeah.
GG.
GG.
And there we go. Jjakji, yeah, taking a pretty quick game 1.